Hello everyone, welcome to Viewpoint at the Royal Award. We are glad to have Professor Rodney Wilson, who is the Emeritus Professor of Economy and Finance at Durham University. Professor Rodney is also a member of the jury for the Royal Award for Islamic Finance. Welcome to Viewpoint at Royal Award.
Thank you very much indeed. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Let's begin the question by asking you about the current state of the development in the Islamic finance industry. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, of course, yes. It's become well established. It's been going for 50 years in its modern form. We can say it's a mature industry, mature part of the financial sector. It's been very successful in the Gulf countries and also, of course, here in Malaysia, particularly successful here. However, the challenge ahead is that in many Muslim majority countries, it's occupying a kind of really rather minor position. For example, if we look at Indonesia, which is near here, the Islamic finance sector is very small. The number of people who actually use Islamic banks is quite limited in relation to Malaysia, for example. And this is, I think, a challenge. If we look at the Middle East, there's very little Islamic finance in North Africa. Egypt is the most populous Arab country, but the Islamic finance banking, it's sort of limited. Turkey a bit more developed, but it's still on the margins. It's really only Iran, which has Islamicized its entire financial sector. But what we can say is that it's very, so it's a mature industry, but very uneven in terms of its development. And then we have to ask, why is that? And I think it's not so much a matter of government policy and so on. I think a lot of it comes down to marketing and getting people to really believe in the products. After all, it's a business, and you know, they have to be seen that these products are working for them and are Sharia compliant, of course. So it's had a lot of success, but it's still on a journey. It's got a long way to go.
What do you think about the talent in Islamic finance? Do you think there is a lack of such talent, and what can be done to solve the issue of lack of talent?
I think there is, I don't think it's a great lack of talent. There are some very talented people in the industry. The issue is really attracting more people in, and of course they have to see that Islamic finance offers a promising career, an interesting career. They don't just want to be maybe in retail banking, they want to be in fund management, all sorts of things, and I think this is very positive. But the difficulty, I think, is that because Islamic finance is a niche for limited size, the career opportunities are not as great as they are in the financial sector more widely. So a lot has happened in terms of Islamic finance education. I worked until last year for INCF here in Malaysia. I previously worked in Doha and Qatar, again of the Faculty of Islamic Studies that ran a master's program in Islamic finance. And of course in Durham University in England, I founded the Islamic finance program many years ago, and that's now run by my former colleagues, Mehmet Osatay and Habib Ahmed. And it's succeeded. It's doing a very good job. But at the same time, we can say that the number of people going through these programs has plateaued. You know, those initial sharp rise, but then it becomes less, basically. So the numbers are holding up well, but I think it would attract more people if there were basically more well-paid and interesting job opportunities in the Islamic finance industry, because some people go into do spend a lot of money getting these qualifications, and then at the end of the day they're not really maybe getting the jobs they hope to get. We can't say it's talent that's holding it back. It's a mixture of things, you know, interacting. It's quite complicated really, but but essentially the very optimistic projections about student numbers on master's programs in Islamic finance were just that. They were too optimistic and maybe not very realistic.
Okay, my last question, Professor Rodney. Do you think the recognition like the Royal Award for Islamic Finance is important?
I think it's very important, actually. I think it helps to identify individuals that have made an outstanding contribution to the Islamic finance industry and its development. And of course, Governor Zeti, for example, she's done a lot, actually, over a very long period of years. governor of Bank Nigara.
Yeah.
But also even before that, she's had a long-term interest in Islamic finance and this promotion. So I think that's very valuable. However, we have to look forward as well as looking backward. And I think one of the issues is perhaps we look at people's career, what they've achieved, but we need to be looking forward to what maybe can be achieved in the future with something like the Royal Awards. So my own feeling is it would be good to be looking forward to having maybe some younger people given the awards in due course. And also perhaps I think it would be quite good to have some academic award holders, because there is a need for the products offered by the Islamic finance industry to be basically more credible, basically the general public. And I think academics are to some extent to blame for not actually being able to explain these products well enough. So I think that one way that the Royal Awards can contribute to that is basically by having future holders who are basically are people that have contributed to this improvement in the products and so on, because I think that really is quite important. I think some of the failures in Islamic finance have been because maybe the academics haven't done enough work on it, you know, and look at the products more closely and analyze them and look at the benefits and communicate those benefits to the wider public. So I think there's a job there, and of course mostly it's been people from a regulatory background, an industry background that have quite rightly received the awards, but I think we need to maybe widen it out a little bit for the future.
Thank you so much, Professor Rodney.
My pleasure to be here. I've certainly wish you all well in the future.
Thank you.